Hello everybody, this is the fruits of my labour for today, and this is the build I'll be taking you through from start to finish in the second part of the video. Both these are just examples, and it's more about the mindset and the thought process, not the literal nuts and bolts of it. For those who are following along on the Mark II, this whole car is all about adapting and sourcing parts and making things work. So enjoy the video, speak to you soon. More Mark II stuff coming up soon. So here's the clutch master cylinder on my XJ40, and originally it would have looked like this. So this style was what was on the car when I got it. The trouble is it was only fitted to late model XJ40s and X300s, and obviously they had to be manuals to have it, so there was a limited run. So when I came to get a replacement, I was quoted silly figures, even as much as 450 quid. So going back to the 40, what was the solution? Okay, so what I came up with was I found out that the earlier XJ40s had this style of clutch master cylinder, and obviously what they'd done late in production, they changed the design to mess up the pattern, part suppliers probably, but long story short, this one fits exactly in as much as it mounts up to the clutch pedal, fits in, bolts up, no problem at all. But obviously they've got to make it slightly different to measure about. So you see, this is where the delivery pipe originally connected to it. So the solution was to go down to my parts store and say, I want a flexible cable with this end on one end and this end on the other. Now obviously it's not a very elegant solution, but it's been on here probably 3 or more years. The car's still on the road, and the cost of the cylinder was £81, and it was probably a tenner for the flexible pipe. So that's the first illustration of how you can basically quarter the repair bill if you start thinking outside the box. So the problem you run up against with the facelifted Mark III Golf is, if you order parts for a 2000 Golf, they send you parts for a Mark IV, and if you order parts for a Mark III, they don't fit. So you're screwed either way. Basically I went all through the normal channels to get hold of one of these catalytic converters, and what it seemed to be was nothing's going to fit. So you can either go the cheap option and it won't fit, or you can go for the expensive one, and when it turns up that won't fit either. So I thought, if I'm going to have to mess about with it, I'm going to go for the cheap and cheerful option. So right or wrong, that's what I done. So what we've got is, this is a brand new catalytic converter for a 1.6 Golf Mark III, and it is identically different to what came off the car, and by different I mean different. So this bore's different, the flange is different, the angle of the flange is different, the size of the flange is different. Yeah, it's different. So what do? Do we go back on the phone and argue the toss and wait another week for it all to be sorted out and spend another £100, or do we just get our thinking caps on? So I think what I've come up with for now is I'm going to basically use this as an adapter, and by hook or by crook we're going to get it on there. So let me chop this end off as a starting point, and we'll take it from there. Okay, so just before I go for a cup of tea, this is where we got to. You saw me chopping that flange off. I went ahead and chopped the other one off as well. And we're not going to be far off doing a test fit on the car, I think. What I like about doing it this way is because we've got, quite a bit of an offset. By putting these two chambers, if you like, together, it gives the gases a chance to for the sensor to pick up its reading as it's flowing through, but it's kind of flows as good as it can into this. It's ever so slightly narrower, this neck, than what should be on there, so it's got that nice chance to flow in. So what we need to know now is where we're going to chop this, but like I said, I think probably best to mark that out on the car. Okay, so we've done a dry fit on the car, and I've got my 2 marks which I put on underneath the car so that I can line it up the same way in the workshop. So now I just need to tack that into place and weld it all the way around. So there we go, a solution to a problem that nobody's got. Thanks for watching, see you next time.